Hello guys, and welcome to potentially a shorter HRL history episode today. I know the last few were pretty long, but those were episodes that kind of needed to be long, I guess. The World of Outlaw one, that race was just so long. And then of course the MCC one, like that was a pretty big episode. And, you know, going over everything with MCC, not just the types of racing that we were trying to get into, but also trying to show like the whole advertising and a lot more, I guess, like kind of behind the scenes type stuff, or stuff that you wouldn't expect to see from an HRL history episode. Like you probably wouldn't expect to see those trailers or those sign up videos, stuff like that. Going through the docs as well, going through like how we were trying to get new drivers, stuff like that. Just a bunch of stuff in that MCC episode that, you know, won't be in normal episodes. But for today's, like I promised, we did that World of Outlaw race. Here we are going to be doing the first TRS race of Halo 4. So not only are we going to have the first World of Outlaw race, also that first TRS race here. And let me know if you guys are interested in seeing more TRS in the future after this, because I definitely want to focus more on TRS and World of Outlaw and go-kart for some of these, because I think that those are like the most, well, Firestone Firehawk, an episode on that will hopefully come soon too. I want to focus on those because those are like the more unique HRL series, you know, like for main series now we do ovals, we do Supercross, we do GP, we do Rallycross, all pretty, I don't want to say generic, but I'm going to say generic stuff, like types of racing, you know, stuff that you'd see in other leagues and types of racing that are pretty popular across Halo. Whereas, like, I think some of the cooler HRL what was I just gonna say? Cooler HRL histories that we could do would be on some of these old series, being that TRS, GK, and World of Outlaw, because they're so unique, and you don't really like kind of some similar stuff on Halo, but not exactly like what we did for those. So let me know which one you want to see the most of, but I'm definitely going to be doing more of those three specific series because they are just so different. Okay, so starting off today, we're going to be doing, like I said, the first ever TRS race. This one's going to be on Rosberg. The first layout, one of the things that we did for TRS, not necessarily for every TRS track, but one of the cool things for TRS tracks is like we do different layouts. I don't remember how many Rosberg had, if it was like 3 or 4 or something like that, but we would take like a base track and make a bunch of different layouts of it so that we could do multiple races on that track, but they wouldn't feel exactly the same. And you'll see why we could do that when you see this track. So without further ado, let's get right into it.
Fan 101 Alt here, and here we are for the first Terrain Rally Series race.
I think I was tired for this
season. The Terrain Rally Series, if you watch one of my reviews, I believe it was my review of Cedar Complex Unabandoned, I sort of give an explanation to what the Rally Series is. So, want to know what it is? Go watch that video, because we're going to get straight to the race here, because that's what we do.
Oof.
First gate pick goes to Luke. He won the first heat race. Second gate pick goes to Snake. He won the second heat race, so he got that pick. There's Gator in third, Papa in fourth, Sector in fifth, Raccoon in sixth. Raccoon and Gator are teammates.
So I think out of all these guys, well, great shot right there. I think out of all these guys, the only new person I have to explain going into this one is Raccoon. Raccoon, I think, friend of Gators for a while, and he also, for a while, I think they quit it recently. Well, recently, it might have been like might have been a couple months ago. He also ran a oval series on Reach for like the longest time with Junts, I think. And Raccoon's raced HRL in the past, not just Halo 4. I think he's even done some Halo 5. So some of you guys may recognize that name. You know, you may be familiar with it, but not necessarily know like exactly remember who Raccoon was. So that's like the best description I could give on him. For the rest of these guys, you recognize these guys from previous videos. I don't need to say too much. So in the beginning there, calling it like Terrain Rally. So TRS, if you didn't know, stands for Terrain Rally Showdown, which I think pretty much describes what it is. Just a type of racing that's on all these like terrain tracks, sort of like a rally type of racing. We have like we do a certain amount of laps. It's not timed racing. There's like jokers on the tracks. There's basically like shortcuts. There's alternate lines. There's certain sections where you can take like 3 or 4 different lines. They're all allowed. There's jumps, stuff like that. Just like everything is thrown at this series, really. Yeah, let's get back into it.
On the Gator W's, whatever, and then Luke and Papa are teammates on Miller Lite Racing. I really do not know what the name of Gator and Raccoon's team is. I forgot. It was something weird. But anyways, let's get this kicked off. There's going to be 3 sticky dead explosions. When the third one goes off, that's when they go, and we'll see who got the whole shot. Drivers getting warmed up, still fudging. Some of them are still moving around. There's a
sticky
one.
detonator.
Oh, the third one.
So I guess we did 3
Luke
for that.
gets the whole shot. Papa comes sliding down. Here comes Raccoon. Snake and Papa, Raccoon, Sector, all lined up. Oh, oof. Sector gets flipped off Raccoon's back bumper. Sector takes out Gator as well.
Okay, so we'll rip Sector. I'll try to like go through this layout so you guys can understand it here in a second. But one thing, like something I always do for all these series is I go through like the format essentially. So I do want to go through that here. So we look at the schedule here. I think the schedule gives a good idea of the format. It's pretty similar. I don't think we had qualifying for TRS. I don't know if we had it at some point, but at least at this point in time, I don't think we had qualifying. And the way it worked out is kind of interesting. So you look at the schedule here. What we would do for TRS is the races for TRS were fairly short, so we would do multiple races. So as you can see, like depending on the size of track, depending on what type of night it was, generally we would do double headers, but occasionally we would do triple headers, and then every once in a while we would have the big fat quad header in the season. That was like the big event where we'd have that quad header. And what we would do is the winner of the race would just be like the winner of the race, like normal race winner like we did. But the overall for the night, kind of similar to how early HRL Halo 5 worked, where we'd have like the several motos on a track and then have an overall. The difference here is that we'd have 2 races on 2 different tracks, and then those results would add into an overall winner for that event for bonus points. We'd have heat races. Here on the schedule we show the podium, and then I think the whole shot would also earn some bonus points. And this series also had a unique point system. I don't want to spoil the results, so let me get a different. There we go. Let's get a different race. So we can look at the point system kind of early on. I think we'll take a look at those Rosberg results at the end here. But as you can see, 25 points for the win, 22 points for second, 18 points for third, and then 16, 15, 14. This point system, from what I can recall, takes inspiration from F1 and Supercross. So kind of like mushing those two together, I guess. I think the way the point system works, I'd have to go to a race where we have a lot of people. We only have 6 people in these first ones. But yeah, 25, 22, 18. So those podium spots are huge, especially the win. But I think that after that, once we get to that 4th place, 16, I think it just goes down by 1 from there on out. So that's how that point system works. Like I said, bonus points. We also had the lead lap bonus points, most lead laps bonus points. Like I said, the whole shot we would have, and I think maybe the heat win would also give a bonus point. So yeah, that's pretty much how the points worked. That's how the format was. For starting the races, like for the order, I would have to assume that it was either, I don't really remember this, it was either random or it was how we do it now, where it's like, reverse off the point standings. It was one of those two. I don't exactly remember. So that's how we'd line people up. Then we'd get the heats going. You get your gate pick and get into the race. That's sort of how TRS ran. Let's get back into the race.
Gator's going to be stuck there for a little bit. Looks like he had problems getting back on his mongoose.
Oh, there's the collision.
Gator takes out Luke. The collision.
So I'll mute myself for a little bit. So as you can see, oh, there it is again. Gator getting conked by that collision. Oh my god, that cost him so hard. But as you can see with this track layout, collisions were a big part of TRS. And as you can see, this track, basically like a figure 8 layout, that collision area is huge. And we're going to see that come into play a lot during this race because it's just such an open collision. Like there's so much possibility there. And collision areas are different on different TRS tracks. Like some of them are more focused. Some of these tracks are bigger. This Rosberg track was one of the first tracks that we raced. One of the smaller, simpler layouts. Like I said, it's pretty much like a figure 8 layout. But one of the benefits to that is that collision area is huge, and that collision area is going to come into play a lot during this race, and it's going to come into play a lot during, oh, there it is again, during various TRS races that we will see. So that was something that always made TRS, kept it exciting. And I don't want to get Roman yard here, so let me just clarify this going right into it. TRS, what made it different than other series is it's not like no trolling allowed. So like collision, obviously like collision is fair game. Like if you want to set up to wreck somebody with the collision, like that's fair game. But when you're like side by side in a normal battle, you try to keep it clean there. So that's what made TRS interesting and unique, is that it had a balance of, you know, you have the trolling with the collision areas pretty much, just kind of just like bound to happen. But then you also have to try to keep it clean when you're normally battling against somebody. So you kind of had like the best of both worlds there. Kept things interesting. All right, let's get back into it. I think this is a 25 lap feature, by the way, but I'd have to double check. But yeah.
He wants to get that lead. It's going to be hard for him, though.
Good
stuck
battle.
Behind Snake.
Top 3.
He had a little momentum, got stuck by Papa. Snake and Papa were both really slow.
Oh.
Looks like Luke gets caught on Papa's bumper. That's going to put him back quite a bit. Still recovers quickly. That's the key to these rally races. You have to recover quickly. Sector, a lap down driver. The collision is fine when you're a lap down, but since he's a lap down, he's going to get out of the way, and he had something else to do, so I think he's going to get off to the side.
No, Sector.
Here,
no.
I really wish he would have actually got off the track, because that's screwed over
Justin.
somebody. Me, because he
Snake's watch.
still staying on the track, even though he had something else to do, which really ticks me off. If you have something else to do, get your mongoose off the racing surface. But anyways,
damn, Justin.
Gator and Raccoon,
Roasted.
they're basically out of the top 3. Right now, like I said several times, they were just playing the role of the spoiler. Trying to get some collisions in there and make this racing action exciting. Papa makes a little crossover on Snake. Not good enough to make a pass, but he's still battling with Snake. He's getting ready to make a move here. Snake hugs that inside. Papa has a little bit of momentum. Here he comes, diving to the inside. Ooh, a little slam on Snake. And a block pass. Snake hits the rock. He's falling back into second. Papa's got a good lead. Looks like the collisions aren't going to be coming into play for a while. But, you know, they're stuck in the back because that's what happens when you get screwed over early. You gotta, on those starts, you gotta make sure you don't get screwed over. And if you do, you gotta make sure you...
See, another thing about TRS, and as you can see here with this track, like the way it's laid out, it's pretty simple. Nice thing about it is that it's pretty simple, right? Like forging a TRS track, it's kind of like a... Excuse me. Sheesh. What we did with these TRS tracks, like really important part of TRS I forgot to mention until now. Oh, there it is. Get conked by Justin. Oh, rip Snake. These TRS races, we forged these tracks on multiplayer maps. So like a big thing that screws over the TRS series in Halo 5 is like the lack of big team battle. It's a lot of Warzone stuff. You can't forge on Warzone maps, which really sucks because Warzone maps would be great for this series. But yeah, we really relied on big team battle maps. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some normal multiplayer maps that we did do TRS on, so you will see those eventually here in future HRL history episodes. But for these, like for the major TRS tracks, a lot of them are forged on these big team battle maps, like Valhalla here, for example. Fog you. So a lot of them are on these big team battle maps, and of course with Halo 5, like I said before, like the big team battle maps on H5 are mostly forge maps, which means that the piece count is already in like kind of a crappy spot. So maybe like if people are interested in it, maybe we could do some TRS in the future in Halo 5. You know, maybe we could make it work. Maybe there's just enough piece count on those forge big team battle maps to make something happen. We'll have to see. I'll have to check them out, see if we can make it work. That was a terrible collision right there. But that's the main reason why we haven't seen it yet. Is just that Halo 5 does not have as good of a big team battle sandbox as Halo 4, and that just created a big issue for us. The nice thing though about if we want to bring back TRS in Halo 5, if we want to give it a shot, is that like I said with this track layout, pretty simple. I mean, look at what we place on the track. It's crates. It's these. I forget what those pieces are. There, like vehicle landing pads or something. I forget what those are called. We got like sandbags, crates. Those weird like vehicle pieces, obviously the checkpoints, jersey barriers, and that's it. Like that's literally all there is. So that's the one benefit if we wanted to try to go back to it, is that the pieces, it doesn't take a lot of pieces to make a TRS layout. Now we'll see some more complex ones. Like I said, this is the first TRS race ever, so we will see some more complex layouts. But for this first one, it's pretty plain Jane, like about as normal as you can get. And I guess that's kind of the beauty of TRS 2 is like the simplicity of that. Like, you know, we get all these complex forge tracks. TRS is like, all right, let's just go back to our roots here. Like, this is something you'd see on Halo 3 or something. But anyways, this race is heating up. Let's get back into it. What is that?
Just gonna let Papa by. Oh, Gator makes a little dive. Wasn't successful. Wow, that was close. Looks like Gator's gonna have to stay off to the side, get out of the way. Papa gives him a little check right there. It's like you're like two laps down. Just get out of the way of this battle. Papa makes another little mistake. Snake. Let's watch the replay. So here's Snake coming down out of the 180, and he just brakes a little too much. He flips. He's the first person to flip on that jump. He just braked a little too much. Why do people have their snipers out? That really ticks me off. So anyways, here comes Snake. Oh, no collision with Raccoon, but that really slowed down Snake. And you know, the collision could come into play now. How did Gator catch up? Snake and Luke battle for the lead. 8 to go.
Oh, this is battle for the lead.
Luke goes around the outside, Snake on the inside. Luke's got the momentum. Raccoon is still there. Luke takes the lead. See, that's the craziness about this series.
We'll let the rest of this play out.
8 laps ago, it looked like Luke was down and out. Now he's in the lead. Papa, it looked like he had it locked. Now he's in third. Luke and Snake are still battling, though. And Papa, don't count him out. He's here in third, and he's just waiting to make a move. Trying to gain all the momentum possible. And you know what Raccoon is? Slow.
Oh, that was a good roast.
And,
even for me, that was pretty good.
Could easily come into play again. Do you know what
that's got to be a new quote. That's roast of the century.
Commentary's getting a little insane here. But I'm serious though. Raccoon is slowing down the leaders, even though
I was a savage.
Up to him every lap. And
okay, maybe it's 30 laps.
Easily play that role of spoiler again and just wreck somebody. And like the leaders are getting closer and closer to Raccoon every single lap. You never know what'll happen. There's going to be something.
Oh!
Raccoon! He hits Luke, but
that was actually not too bad.
It. Wow.
Wow.
All right, here's the replay. Here comes Luke. Down the jump, there's Raccoon.
Oh!
No, Luke says, no, I'm pile driving you. That's what I was talking about before. You have to make that decision when you're a leader or you're a lap driver. You know, when you're the leader, commonly you'll be in the position where if you keep running, you'll end up screwing the other person that's trying to screw you over. You'll end up screwing them up, and you'll keep your run and maybe slow down the people behind you. Whereas, you know, when you're the lap down driver, you have to make that decision. You know,
rip Snake.
Snake messes up. Papa takes the position. You have to make that decision. You know, do I want to keep going to try to catch up to the leaders, or do I want to so do I want to make that decision, you know, to catch up to the leaders, or do I want to play it safe so that I don't hit them? You know, that's the decision that you have to make, and it looks like Luke and Raccoon are on the same page of hitting each other. But anyways, it is the last lap. A lot of people are missing a checkpoint.
Race.
Yes,
okay.
It is the last lap here. Luke's got a huge lead. The real battle is between Papa and Snake. Papa's going. Snake, maybe he can pull something out here. Papa goes wide. He takes it. He takes second. Luke takes the win. And they're still running around another lap, even though that was
rip.
the last
I guess we
lap.
didn't know it was the end.
I don't know. I think
if Snake just got that pass there.
But Luke and Papa were both missing a checkpoint. Snake already hit the 30 laps, so the race actually ended before people thought it did. That's kind of funny. But anyways, here's Luke crossing the finish line in first. This actually isn't the last lap. The last lap was the other lap, because see, Snake.
I'll let myself close it out.
This checkpoint right here isn't wide enough. Like, if you take it very far inside, you can see you can miss it. If you take it very far outside, you can miss it. And Luke and Papa both missed it once. So that's my point there. Like, they both like everybody. Gator and Raccoon were simply a lap down, but Luke and Papa were missing a checkpoint. Snake was on the lead checkpoint, so the race actually ended a lap before we thought it did. So the actual finishing lineup was Luke, then Papa, then Snake, then Gator, and then Raccoon came in fifth. Where the heck is Raccoon? Here's Raccoon. He got a little ticked off because Snake was doing his donuts for finishing third, and Raccoon's just like, hey, I'm still racing, get out of my way. But anyways, that's the finishing order. Luke is your first Terrain Rally Series race winner. He gets some good points for the overall win, which the overall win, if you have the best points, basically what we do is 3 races a night. If you get the best points out of any driver of those 3 races, then you get the overall win. The overall win grants you 2 bonus points. Doesn't sound like much, but it's a lot more than you think. And wow, these videos are awesome. They're so short compared to the other ones. Anyways, Luke is your first winner. It's a Miller Lite Racing 1-2. And in general, it was just an insane race. Papa was second on the podium. Snake was third. So anyways, there's your drivers.
So yeah, rounding it out there. Here's the results. Shout out to myself for kind of explaining it there. Explaining the overall a little bit, but yeah. So there was our first, historic first race to TRS there. And as you can see with the points, I'm just showing the points for season 2 here. But we ended up running 5 seasons. We completed 4 seasons of TRS on Halo 4, which is pretty crazy. And we had that one that was cut short on MCC, which is counted as season 5 here. So that's actually a lot of seasons if you think about it. Ran of TRS. Showing the schedule here again, like showing the season 2 schedule. Let's take a look at that season 1 schedule. But look at this. We ran a whole entire season of 15 TRS races from July 30th to August 27th. So just a month. And we were able to run this entire season. It seems like really long, but again, like these events, running like 3 races in a night, would be like 1 HRL race a night. You know what I mean? Like 1 normal current HRL race a night. That's how fast these races were. How fast it was to get them set up and get them going and stuff like that. It wasn't too much work. And that was a good thing. Like that, a lot less like sitting around in TRS, Like we could really get things going really quickly, and that's why we were able to bang out so many of these races. But yeah, so I'll definitely be doing more of these. Let me know what you guys want to see, future HRL history episodes. That special track history episode, hopefully coming next week. We will see what happens. We'll see if I have the time. Hopefully I do, because that would be a really cool one to do. And if I do, definitely expect that one next week, because that is going to be a dope episode. Like, yeah, that one will be sick. Like I said, though, let me know between like TRS. Well, I guess I haven't done a go-kart, so I'll probably do go-kart next. But between like TRS, World of Outlaw, go-kart, what more do you want to see soon in the future? Like of those different types of series. Like I said, it'll probably be go-kart next, just because I haven't done that yet. But between those 3, like what do you want to see the most? Because I'm definitely going to be going through all of them. And there's a lot of history here with TRS, a lot of seasons. World of Outlaw has a few seasons, even go-kart has a few seasons to go through, and some interesting like nuances with the go-kart series as well with running it. But yeah, I'm going to close out this episode here. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's HRL history. Again, look forward to next week's. It's going to be crazy as well. See you later.